Good evening and welcome to the KILI Storytelling Hour. Come up here every Wednesday from 5 to 6 and share story about our culture, education, and Lakota language. And I want to say good evening to all you listeners out there. Some of you are going back from work. It's hot out there, so take your time. Also, this evening, I want to thank KILI Radio for this hour. During the summertime, it's hard to do storytelling every Wednesday from 5 to 6, but coming up here, I think about two words that I use whenever I come up here, and that's persevere and commitment. And I always use those two words, especially for my language. So it's good to be up here, and I have a story, two stories. Then I have I have the Lakota language. I wanted to share some thoughts about the Lakota language. Sayatona narofta nakamena nakilechta tepkiham. Le voya ke naish wichoya ke apseche. Nako ohunkanka. Ona nako wonspe. Ona Lakota ya pikile. Lena chichapit. Ocha tkakaya I khotona narofta nakamena lila pilamaya. Na ikanchola kile KILI kile nako pilamaya. When tuktek la narofta nakap kile na le 90.1 etaha kahok. And I'm in Iluzo hekta 88.7. On wrong spell manayo na kiliradio.org. Tuktek Makasi Domania Lakota ki anarofta nakap pilamaya. Le na le lakolia pikile nach bina expeniche chat. Ona is nako le Lakota ki chi wongla kamata. Oe ha nes yok pias na wongla. So ke na nako anarofta nakana. Namas na yachat apsetje. Ahena kompilamaya. Ale tro dila iblables nehani le takuku waglat khang khan. Le tuktektel anarop tanakap kile on kaiser chance na خوشوازیه ها افخسه ایش منی لوزه ها کن ل اونس پرمنای نیش تاکوکو هانی ونگلا کام ل تاکوکو کو امنا ونگلا کام کن ل هوخ تو هنی افخشنی چون خیلی خولخت تا که هنا افخنت کن هل این شالا Hey Betslan. On Parjola au Trois here, hey the Martin. On Inkpata au Trois here, hey White Collector. It's in a Kunda Vichota. On Pejichota au Trois here, hey Edgemont. On peut-être Tiopa au Trois here, hey Buffalo Gap. Ugly Yotake Otron is Crawford. This Jina kunki chasmuskaya. Ishnako ian shalaya. He's Batesland. Wagamiza wakpa. Alan. Sugmani tu tchanka wakpala. He Wolf Creek. Below Oak. With Hater Creek. Bahazi Zipala. Village Slim Buttes. Mankoshita. Rocky Ford. Ogle Luta. Richard. Valenatro. Another Tanakar Henai. Yuha. Pilamaya. When I go Washita, I like to do some shout outs. Dalahat Hoshka Pahahi. Tilehanghi. Khalila in Mashte. Pilamaya. Kachuyan Kana. Hakoja Galahi. Sanket. Wenshian Kana Lila in Youngpit. Chaba Nahop Tanakahechi. Lila Tatu Mashte, Ohio. When I come Tom, Gahan was here, have a real good evening. When I come Charlie, nice, Chunk Bill wash it. Charlie, if you're listening, have a good evening. When I try to get Karen, another of the Nakaji, Alila. Ashna la kolia pikle omak chanketro pilamaya ye lo ana takoja brela na nagapta nakaji pilamaya emos niomi wana nakunle I chankpepe oaya hel wana tuktektel nakun yuha le oaya kilna yuha le hanle youth works up hanale tuktektel makasi tomnia ahina oaya kelena uichaka youth works up lena wakaja kihan le wayao spechaka reading program reading projects lena nako oaya kelena uichaka le gonasta nako oaya le wakaja lena tchuchak wana youth works kele the Oko Uki Hilwana Hakaslecha. So, Tro, Gana Elaktajish Nihani. Tro, on behalf of One Day School, Mike, if you're listening, thank you for all that you have done for the past 2 months. Thank you. Wana le nako le oko le wiki le wana le hake kale champha sapa wia yani toki le wiki asna champha yushpim na cheche wana ha le oko ke akte hel uki hel wana ke witruk jonjektum ki aakt und er es nacht die champha ki sapeshn slecha so dona gnasetchna champhalush bibnachet so het khod na kuyuna kale yawaking ona le wanan le tao konjiki na kun wazia ha hekta oskatik hele global nation wachipi akle so hele la kilikte het lawan le tao konjiki Charlie Hinter na igluya. Ona wana ichana na kun waya kelena. Waya wicha kelena cooked. Yeah. Leva shitya kel about another 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Teachers, staff will be coming back to the schools. Another month, the school will start. Seems like this summer really went fast, but it's it was a good summer. Certo na narop na kap kila na tholel in taku ku yahi tahna tho yuna kila yaking. So the first one that I wanted to share is from the South Dakota magazine. The date on this magazine is March and April 2009. That was 2 years ago. And right on the magazine, it's the topic of the article that I wanted to share is says saving the native language, and then it has in quotations it has they laughed at me, says the teacher. You can have a half hour during noon hour to play your tape and dance. Okay, so think about that, and then I'm going to go into this article, and then we'll come back to that. And then on this article, there's a picture in here, and I see Fred. Fred is Lakota teacher at Red Cloud School. Okay, I'm going to just go right into this article, and right in the middle it says here that in the early 1950s, it says the decade in which the Lakota language began disappearing. Okay, then it says today just 14% of Lakota living on reservations in North Dakota and South Dakota speak Lakota. And according to the 2000 census. And estimates suggest the number has dropped another 25% in the last 8 years. Okay, so that means the Lakota language is considered endangered. And what that means is when the language become endangered, that means that only adults, let's say around 50, 60, speak the Lakota language. And that's what that means. And I think this article goes into that too. It says here, in 1993, the average age of Lakota speakers was about 50. Okay, so that's what endangered means. Today, it is 65. This was back in 2009. In those 15 years, fewer children learn Lakota. Okay. When fluent elders die, there are no speakers to replace them. The transmission is broken. So today, whenever I consider myself a Lakota advocate or Lakota language activist. So it's kind of, that's why whenever I talk about the Lakota language, I always use those two words, that perseverance and commitment. So when we teach this Lakota language, we have to do it consistently, all the time. And I think I put teachers in here too. Teachers have to be committed. Okay, now I'm going to move on to more of this article. It says here that in the 1990s, several councils adopted resolutions declaring Lakota their official language and required schools to teach the Lakota language. And I went through my papers and I found some resolutions. And the reason I was doing this was because I got a call from a Lakota teacher on the Cheyenne River Reservation and asked me if I have a copy of it. I don't know why he don't go to Eagle Butte and get one, but I have one, so I made a copy and I mailed it to him. But we do have resolutions that says that a child will be taught so many hours a day Lakota, and then the goal is to make fluent Lakota speakers. Okay. Then we have today. Okay, I'm going to jump into 1970s, okay, in the article. In the 1970s, it says here, the Lakota language is taught half an hour during noon hour. And then, for myself, I know that around 2000, 2001, Lakota language is taught 40 minutes per week. So we are only teaching the Lakota language 2-3 hours a month. That's not really much. We will never make a Lakota speaker. But today, we have schools that have Lakota language every day, and for 1 hour. And that's, to me, that's good. But still, it's going to be really hard to make a Lakota speaker. So I just wanted to share this article from the South Dakota magazine. This was dated March and April 2009. And then on this article, they mentioned Lakota on the air. They mentioned the Lakota language show that we have on Saturdays. Myself and my cousin Robert, and so that's today this revitalization movement. We do everything. We not only do we teach the Lakota language more minutes or more hours a day, but we also use KILI radio, which is pretty good. So today, I think we came a long ways in working with the Lakota languages. This article, in just a couple pages, it tells me that the little thought that it started off with, where it says that they laugh at me, says the teacher. You can have a half hour during a noon hour to play your tape and dance. Now that kind of thought probably happened back in the 50s, maybe even in the 60s, maybe even in the 70s, maybe even in the 90s, and maybe even around 2000. But in the last 10 years, we came a long ways. We have a lot of good teachers. We have this word, revitalization. And but still, I think I mentioned this Saturday, still we have, like, on the Standing Rock Reservation, only like less than 10% speakers. Cheyenne River Reservation, less than 10%. Rosebud and Pine Ridge Reservations, maybe less than 15%. Crow Creek, less than 5%. Lower Brule, maybe 1%. So it's still pretty, like, we still have a lot of work to do. A lot of work. And I know all the schools are doing a lot of planning, a lot of teachers are, pretty well immersed in Lakota language, immersed in methodology, teaching and using methods that are successful in other places like Blackfeet or Hawaii, but right here in Lakota country we have a lot of good teachers, and we have our own methods. We keep teaching our Lakota using these methods. I know someday that one of these children will speak Lakota, and we do have Lakota-speaking children in the Lakota country. So, to me, we are making progress, and but every time I read something like this, then it makes me think, and we still have a long ways to go. Even, like I just said, we're doing pretty good, but it's going to take a lot of work, a lot of working together. So that was in the South Dakota magazine, and if you want to look at it, it was written in March 2009. And now I have another book here that I wanted to share. This one here, I was looking for some information on the four directions. There were some questions that came up, and like we all know, we all hear and see information on the four directions, but sometimes, like a thought will come. A thought will come that may say, where did this come from? Or where did this teaching come from? And then you stop and look around and see if you have any information. If you have a book, if you have maybe teaching material, where did you get it? And that information in that book or the teaching material, where did that come from? Who started this? Who said this? And so I started looking around, and I know there's more information on this, but I thought I'd share this, and then maybe we will find more information. This little book came from, it's called Lakota Life, and it was written in 1976 by Ron Zillinger, I think, Zeilinger. And this was written at St. Joseph's Indian School in 1976. And in here they mention the Lakota staff. And they mention Beatrice Whiting, and they mention the late Tom Charging Eagle. Okay. In here they have some real good information, and I wanted to share the one on the four directions, and then before I get into that, I wanted to share the four values. Okay, the four values that they mentioned in here are generosity, wachantoganaka, and I think this was aired on the KILI radio here, and I think it was done on that show they have at lunchtime, at around 11:30, 12 o'clock from, and the topic was giveaways. And under generosity, they mentioned this giveaway, or otuha. And the other one was courage, honor and respect. And then the other one was respect. And the last one was wisdom. Okay, now I'll get into the four directions. This one here, in my teachings, I always go through the four directions, or the Changaleshka. And I always say it's like our life. And then we have like the 4 colors. And then we have the values that I just mentioned. But there was something in here that I wanted to share that I learned when I started looking. And I'll read it. I had a vision. I saw 4 chariots coming out from between the mountains. One was pulled by red horses, the second by black horses, the third by white horses, and the fourth by spotted horses. I ask, what do these mean? These are the 4 winds. They have just come from the presence of the Lakota. And then they mention the verse in here. Zechariah 6:5, I think. This is something that I learned from this book. And then on the 4 directions, when the Lakota people pray or they do anything sacred, they see the world as having 4 directions. From these 4 directions come the 4 winds. And each direction has a special meaning and color that belongs to it. Okay, then they have the east. This is a direction from which the sun comes. Light dawns in the morning and spreads over the whole earth. It is the beginning of the day and the beginning of understanding, because light helps us see things the way they really are. Darkness goes away. The deeper meaning is that the East stands for the wisdom that helps people live good lives. This is why traditional people get up in the morning to pray, facing the dawn. Okay, and then the south. Okay, this direction stands for warmth and growing things, because when the sun is in the south, it is highest in the sky. It is powerful. That is why it is said that the life of things comes from the south. Also warm and pleasant winds blow from the direction, from this direction. It is said in the old days that when people died, their souls travel along the path of the Milky Way back to the south, from where they come. Okay, west. This is a direction in which the sun sets and where the day comes to an end. For this reason, it is the direction that stands for the end of life. As a thunderbird lives in the west, it makes thunder and rain come from there. For this reason, the west is a source of water, rain, lakes, streams, and rivers. Nothing can live without water. So this direction is very important. Okay, and then north. Waziataka. This direction brings the cold, harsh winds of the winter. These winds are cleansing winds that cause the leaves to fall and the earth to rest under the cover of the snow. If someone has the ability to face these winds like the buffalo, with his head into the storm, they have learned patience and endurance. Generally, this direction stands for hardships and discomfort to people. Therefore, it stands for trials that people must endure, or a cleansing they must undergo. I think sometimes, like for me, every day in my classroom I have a changleshka that I was painted, and my son painted that changleshka, my son Richard, and on that circle he put the 4 directions, the 4 colors, and then he drew another one, Shigmani to Tanka. And sometimes when I look at that changleshka, I know what it means, and I know what it stands for. I know that it has 4 directions, like Wasiata, Wiyohiapata, Itokagata, Wiyohpiata. And then those colors, we always say, okay, those colors represent the 4 races. Lakota for red, yellow people, the black people, and the white people. And then we learn from our elders. We always say elders that there's 2 roads in that circle. One is black and one is red. And the black one is the one that's the easiest. The red one is the hardest. And then we start at the top and then we finish. Like we were born, then we become young men, and then we become adults, and then we become old man or old lady. So the circle is a life. It starts a road. So when I look at that, then I thought I knew everything about it. But then one day I was asked, and it says, the question was, where did this come from? Who told this story first? Or why do we have those colors? Or who had that idea? But now I understand, because there's more information, and I'm really glad that I found this book. And next week when I come, there's other things in this book that I wanted to share. But this evening I just wanted to share the 4 directions, and then very briefly the the four values that they talked about. Generosity, is something that any real Lakota person has. In here it has, to be called stingy is the worst insult. Okay. And the Lakota people are very generous. And then courage, taking care of others. And then respect. The old are respected for their wisdom, and the young because they are the future of the people. And then wisdom. Today, wisdom is very important. And then under wisdom is also humble and caring for others. So these are the values that we have as Lakota people. So this evening I just wanted to share these the four directions, the values, and then this article that I found in a South Dakota magazine, and this one in the magazine, it shows me that the Lakota language is very important, and sometimes, like when we talk about the Lakota language, or when we read articles like this, sometimes they'll paint a sad story first, why it's like this. And then it'll come up to, like, say, today. Today it is not really that sad. But how it was treated was the sad part of it. But today we treat the Lakota language with respect. And today we have more people as teachers. And today we are aware, we know that we need to teach the language to the young people. And I think that's what we are doing. And today we always, I think in here it says that they mention the KILI radio, like for airing. We have Lakota programs. People come up here and speak Lakota. And when they do this, then people learn. People hear this and they learn, and they just want to listen to it. Some people just want to listen to the Lakota language. And then they mention the revitalization movement. They mention all the reservations are into this movement. So I think it just makes me think, when I read an article like this, you stop and then you think about, like he mentioned here, like 50s, 1950s, 1960s. Like for me, I know that in 1960s, all the adults speak Lakota. But in the schools, there was no Lakota. In 1970s, we still have a lot of adults speaking Lakota, but in the 70s is when the bilingual programs start. So, it shows you a picture why the language is very important today. And it is us, as Lakota, the language is us. And that's really important. So again, I want to say thanks for listening, and I want to say thank you to Toshka for putting me on the air here. And we will see you next week.